Live from the Acres Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Husker Athletic Director Show with Trev Alberts. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
45 apiece. We've got 9:45 to go in the game. Greasel, chest pass left side. Lawrence gives to Wilcher, nearly walked with it. Here's Oleg with it. Oleg will drive it against Key. Puts it up and in! Attaboy, Oleg! Holy smokes! You couldn't root for a kid any more than I'm rooting for him.
I love it. Throws it way in the back court. Moriarty gets it. 2 seconds. 1 second. Throws a flip up and it goes in! It goes in! You betcha! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's the miracle shot of all time! Kendall Moriarty threw a frisbee with the right hand. That's a Central Valley Ag 3, and this game is over. Nebraska wins at 80-51. You've seen it all now. Gianni Stewart had the defense. 4:46 to go in the third. Shelley Nolik passed underneath it. Kendall Coley gets the layup off the assistant Jazz Shelley.
Yeah, great job by Kendall Coley, and she's giving Nebraska a little lift with energy off the bench.
Gives it out there to Zed Key. We got 3 seconds to go. McNeil has Greasel in the air. Missed the three at the buzzer. Missed the three at the buzzer. Missed the three at the buzzer. And Nebraska wins it by 3. Final score in Lincoln. Huskers 63, Ohio 60.
Here is your host, Greg Sharpe, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome. It's our January sit-down with the athletic director for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Trev Alberts. Great to have him in studio with us for the next hour. If you want to be a part of the program with a phone call or a text, the number is the same, 402-413-2400. We're almost through this month. How quick did that go?
2023 is moving quickly, isn't it, Greg? It's been crazy. A lot of good stuff happening, and a lot of progress, and a lot of hard work happening.
The school just started. How about the length of the break? And Fred Hoiberg was talking about it today at his press conference, how long the break was. We played quite a few basketball games without our student body here. We're glad to get them back on campus.
We really are. You know, I mean, the students on our campus just create that energy and excitement. And as we think about our venues, as we think about Memorial Stadium and making sure that, you know, and we even talk to our donors and our fans, they want the students at those games. They bring the energy. That's the passion. And so making sure that our students are at the game, really engaged in great seats, it's really going to be important to our future. So we love our students, and we're grateful for all their support, and we miss them when they're not at our games.
Good to have them back. Earlier today, the announcement came out about the spring football game. We've known it was April 22nd. Now you've announced you're going to put tickets on sale next week. Season ticket holders will get a crack starting Tuesday at 10 a.m. and then the general public on Wednesday at 10 a.m. I also love the fact that if you are 12th grade or younger, you can get a ticket for $1. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, we're doing our best to make sure that we engage with all of our fans. You know, we want to make this an experience, an environment that's, you know, something that everybody can be a part of. And one of the things that we're really proud of, too, is, you know, we've got this incredible partnership with FNBO. I mean, First National Bank has been side by side with the University of Nebraska, not just the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, but all across our university. They have stood with us for years in support. And one of the things that we're really excited about is they're donating 3,000 tickets that's going to go to military personnel and their families. And so we're just grateful for FNBO. They're going to be obviously the presenting sponsor of the spring game. They've been for a long time. Grateful for Clark Lawrence and the Lawrence family and all of those folks associated with FNBO. They've done a great job, and it's going to provide a special environment. I think what you're going to see is it's going to be a worthwhile, it's going to be a game. It's going to be football. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you know, what this new version of Husker football looks like under Coach Rule's leadership.
2 months, he's been on the job, and I'm not sure he's sat down. This guy has the Energizer Bunny. Trev, he's all over the place.
Well, it's been fun to watch the staff work, you know, and it's been fun to watch. You know, it's been a, when I say challenge, that's the wrong word. It's been great for our administration staff as well. This is a group that is a group of workers. They're passionate. They've got a vision. They push. And they're leading the way culturally in terms of work ethic within our department. I think that's really important. But, you know, it all starts at the top. Starts with Coach Matt Rule. And it's just been wonderful. I spent the day with him yesterday in Omaha. We've been going around meeting with some donors. And, And his ability to communicate and connect with people is really remarkable. And obviously it's a football coach and he has to win, but you start with creating relationships and just watching he and his team work to create relationships. And those aren't just relationships with the administration, it's not relationships with the donors, it's relationships with high school coaches, it's relationships with prospective student athletes and their parents. And so I'm just grateful to Coach Rule for his hard work. I talked to him during the process and the hiring process about this is a job you got to work at. And let me tell you something, he's far surpassed my expectations in terms of work pace, and it's been great to watch.
Stephen Bellevue says, no real question, just want to say thank you. All the sports are looking good. Keep up the wonderful job.
Well, thank you, and it's really, it's reflective of our people. At the end of the day, we always talk about this, but, organizations and cultures are built not by brick and mortar, but it's by the people. And investing in our people and ensuring that they have the resources necessary to be successful. And so many of them I inherited. And so we have great leadership here. We have passionate Huskers that love young people and love to serve them. And just grateful for all the hard work and love what we're seeing in competition so far.
Matt said at his introductory press conference he was anxious to kind of wrap his arms around the great tradition of this university. I think he's done that in spades in the first 2 months to get out there and try to learn as much as he can. And I've even heard some of the assistant coaches say, we're trying to grasp, say, the black shirt tradition. What's that all about? We want to do it right. That has to make you feel good.
Well, it really does. One of the things that, I've seen from this staff is a genuine respect for Nebraska and respect for the Husker tradition. At the same time, what I love about them, and this is sometimes challenging for all of us, but we still have to be innovative. This program, when you think about what Coach Osborne did a long time ago, Coach Osborne never got credit for, he was extraordinarily hardworking. Of course, he was brilliant. He was a great schemer. He was a great play caller. Coach Osborne was one of the best strategic thinkers you could find. And so when we think about how Nebraska was always out in front, well, that's innovation. And so the real key for Coach Rule is, hey, how do we find a way to really respect and embrace the history and tradition that is Nebraska athletics and Nebraska football? And at the same time, we've got to move forward. We've got to innovate. We've got to think differently. We've got to be entrepreneurial. And this is a group that I think can thread that needle, because that's not always easy to do, Greg. But they're very respectful of everything that's been done here. Very respectful. Matt's had multiple conversations with Coach Solich and Coach Osborne and others, just trying to pick their brains on what worked, what didn't work, how do you get this done? And by and large, I think the message that's been very consistent, and one of the things that I think has really went over well, is Matt's recognizing the impact of Nebraska football players. And you go back, even in some of our best teams, if you get 6 or 7 or even 8, like they did this year, of the top high school football players in Nebraska, the best teams, had about 18, 20, 24 kids from Nebraska. That's our culture. That's who we are. That's our toughness, right? And Matt recognizes that, and I just love their investment into the state.
Well, they certainly have been busy. A couple of those coaches, I think, maybe have been to every small town in the state in the first 2 months. It's impressive. And
I think they're going there for the food, though. Let's be honest.
Sure.
Every small town has an incredible restaurant, right? And they're just going out there to eat.
Little cafe that's got the best little pork chop or something that you can go grab out there. But I think the folks appreciate that.
Yes.
I'm sure you'd love to see a full house on April 22nd, and I think we may get darn close to that.
I really would, and it's not only important, to Coach Rule and our staff. It's important to recruiting. The thing about this place, and I've asked Matt. Of course, when we're meeting these donors, a lot of folks, and I don't want to speak for Matt, will say, what's the one thing you've been surprised about? And not surprised, but I think the power of our brand, the N, nationally, is really strong. And that, our fan base, there isn't anywhere you can't go that someone says, go Big Red. And I think that's been really rewarding for Matt and the staff.
All right, season ticket request list. You're getting compiling that for next year to kind of get you. Where's that stand? Are people responding to that? Where do we sit with this?
Yeah, people are responding, and we're a little past where we've historically been. We've got 6,700 unique requests in terms of season tickets on our list that would like to be a part of our season ticket base, and so we think that's a really good sign as we get started here. And I think it's really reflective of the respect that our fan base has, for Matt and the work that they've done. I mean, you just look at recruiting, and I know we're not quite done here, but, when they started, and no disrespect to anybody previously, but we were in the 50s nationally if you look at some of the rankings. And so to end up in the top 25, top 23, top 22, and get some fabulous opportunity in the transfer portal, I think it's really reflective of the hard work. But, Matt, that's why leadership matters, right? Matt is a genuine, authentic leader. He's a hard worker, and he surrounds himself with people that think the same way. And so when you have that, collective vision and effort going forward, and these are all people that connect well with people. These are relationship builders, and at the end of the day, a great culture is built on relationships.
So if folks are interested in getting on that season ticket request list, can they go to the website? Is that
Absolutely.
the best place to find it?
Go to the website, call our ticket office, Holly, Adam, the whole crew over there. You can call our development office as well, Ben Murray, all of those. You can call me if you'd like to. We need everybody. I'll just end with this, again, on Coach Rule. In our best days, people felt like they could see, touch, and feel and be part of this program. And that's what I want to. And I think that's what Coach Rule will bring, is that humility that allows everybody to be a part and feel like they're a part of rebuilding a great tradition at the university.
Speaking of a great tradition, Dorothy Lynch, homestyle, light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. Trev Alberts is with us. It's our monthly sit-down with the Husker Athletic Director, 402-413-2400. Last thing on this, and we're going to get to a break. Update us on the building. How's the Go Big project? Are you happy with where that is? And I'm sure that is playing into some of the success Matt's got, knowing that these kids are going to go walking into a brand new palace right next to us.
Well, the progress is going very well. Again, I always want to thank the folks working on it. The architects and our construction team. Want to thank our staff. This is part of this recruiting. I mean, it's been a really, in a sense, stressful time for some of the members of our staff, in a sense that we've got this critical opportunity to get some talent in here to help our football program, not just our football program, but the rest. And so you're starting to see some of the Go Big project take shape. We're taking all the recruits through there, and one of the big things that Matt is, it's all about recovery, and it's about health of our student athletes. And this is the brick and mortar behind that, and it's going to be the premier development facility in the country, and it's really helped us in recruiting.
Winter conditioning's going on. Are you a fan of that in your playing days?
Well, in a sense.
It's a big part of it.
It's a big part of it. You either love to grind or you don't. The great players, you never looked at it as work. I mean, it was part of what was part of, you just want to get a little bit better every day. And one of the things that I love is, our coaches, including our head coach, are there with the team at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, some of them have recognized that maybe they need to join those workouts, but based on all those small towns they've been visiting. But the point is that's part of that culture that I think is being built. And so players are working hard. It's a fresh start for guys that maybe weren't getting on the field, that looking for an opportunity. So as Matt said at the press conference, all of that is built at 6 a.m., future success is. That's where it's built, in the grind. And so we'll start with that work ethic and try to get a little bit better every day. And if we do that collectively and build that unity of purpose through hard work, and good things will happen.
One of the changes in college football since Matt left to go to the NFL for a couple of years was the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. How has he handled that in your eyes? And I'm sure he's had some questions about how all this thing works.
Yeah, he was really surprised at literally the change in the 2.5 years that he was gone. But I think when you have a coaching transition, the reality is the beneficiaries are those schools. I mean, in the past, where you would have to recruit that class, and that first year, because of timing and otherwise, you maybe not had the recruiting class you'd kind of hoped because you didn't get a chance to develop those relationships. Well, then you got to wait for that class to develop for a couple, 3 years. You're trying to get your team to be an old team, right? That's what the best teams are, where you've got a consistency in an older team. Well, with the transfer portal, it gives you an opportunity to expedite that change. And so I think the transfer portal is a challenge for some. I think the transfer portal in a lot of areas has been really, really good for student athletes. I mean, at the end of the day, players want to play. And there are players that are at institutions that might play in the NFL that aren't going to get the playing time because there's a 5-star in front of the 4-star. Well, you know, the transfer portal gives them an opportunity to go to a great school like the University of Nebraska, be a part of a great turnaround. And I think our coaching staff has tried really hard to balance, you know, we want to make sure that that high school class is strong, but let's fill in some gaps that are immediate needs to help us get to the development of those high school players. So I've been really, really impressed by our staff's effort in the portal as well as, you know, the high school ranks.
How much influence are you having on recruiting, or do you want to have on recruiting? Are you just there if he needs you? You want me to meet a kid, I'll come meet a kid. How involved are you, or do you want to be?
I will do whatever the coaches ask me to do. I really feel like my job is to serve the coaches and to serve the student athletes. And
that's probably across a variety of sports, too.
It really is. You know, I mean, from time to time, I'll have a request. Hey, would you do that? 100%. I mean, I of course, love doing it. I'm not going to get in the way. If I'm counterproductive, I certainly won't do it. But my job is to block and tackle for the coaches and to help clear a path for them, hopefully to be successful.
Very good. 402-413-2400. That's the number for you to dial us up with a comment or question. We do have time to tell you to buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More with Trev coming up.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
Fires 3-ball, no good. Rebound to Gary. Gary fights for it on the floor, flips to Vandermill. This has been a thing of beauty, my friends, in every respect.
Hey Husker fans, tune in tomorrow with Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen as the men's basketball team faces off against Northwestern. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 5 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red!
Hey Huskers fans, when you want to be game ready, Alumni Hall is your ultimate Huskers shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family, Adidas, Champion, Columbia, plus gifts, accessories, and all your tailgating needs. UNL students, faculty, and military always receive 10% off in store, and you can earn cash back with Hall Pass rewards. 2 great Lincoln locations or anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Huskers fans shop.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Nebraska women's basketball offers one of the best values in all of Husker sports with single game reserve tickets at Pinnacle Bank Arena for just $15. Adult general admission seating is just $10, while youth and senior general admission tickets are $5. Children 6 and under are just $1. Plans now to bring your whole family to Husker women's basketball for Big Ten home games in January and February. Get your tickets and the full schedule at Huskers.com.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases. And there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
We're back at our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. It's our monthly sit-down with the athletic director for the Cornhuskers, Trev Alberts. If you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400. Thank you for being flexible. This show was supposed to be tomorrow night because the basketball team's supposed to play tonight, but they're playing tomorrow night because of a COVID issue within Northwestern. That got a little crazy, didn't it, to reschedule that?
Yeah, scheduling games difficult. I mean, even when you're starting fresh, but in the middle of the season when you're trying to change schedules around and class schedules and all those types of things, it can be challenging. But I thought the Big Ten really did a good job. I'd like to thank our partners at PBA for being flexible with us, and these things happen, and so you're trying to get the games in, trying to figure it out, and then you're also, as you mentioned, you always have TV. You got the Big Ten Network. You're trying to move things around. So we appreciate the the patience and flexibility of our fans as well. You think about people that might be coming from a distance who want to come to our games, and when games get moved and plans get moved or times change, sometimes those are outside of our control, but glad to get those games in, important to get those games in. And by the way, I think Northwestern, after being out for a little bit, came back first game and looked pretty good. They won. So, yeah, had a nice little break.
Both the men's and women's teams have been really hurt with some key injuries, haven't they?
They have, and I really feel bad for them, and certainly the season's not over. I mean, this is a team that can continue fighting. On the men's side, you like the leadership with Sam and Derek, and those guys can help carry the load. But I just sort of myself fell in love with the style, the effort, and the grit of Juwan and Emmanuel, and I feel so bad for those two because they did everything right and they worked really hard, but this is sport. That's what happens, right? Injuries happen, and so we're gonna have to find a way to overcome that. And Allison Widener, I mean, she's my favorite little player on the women's basketball team, again, just because of her toughness, and she was that person that, when the shot clock's going down, 8 seconds left, you clear it out. She had the ability one-on-one to get to the rim and make a bucket. So, both Fred and Amy have some challenges here, and they'll show great leadership and hold their teams together and continue fighting. But feel sorry for those student athletes.
It's hard to see any athlete go through a season-ending injury And, for Emmanuel's career, his college career is over. He doesn't have any eligibility. Juwan can come back next year and play, but that's really tough. You see it all the time in football. Guys get hurt week 4 or 5 and their career's over.
Well, the first question I ask is, does he have a COVID year left? Do we still have COVID years?
Right.
I mean, did he play enough? Can we still get a medical? Because I just thought Emmanuel and Juwan just brought that, just that toughness, that desire to put in the work, to do the things that aren't glamorous. And oftentimes in basketball, the players that'll do the things that aren't glamorous, that aren't necessarily reflective of points, they're the culture that ultimately gets you the buckets that you need down the stretch. But Fred and Amy will figure it out. Still got great players on both those teams.
Steve from Woodcliff Lake on the text line says, Trev, the last staff held football practice in the morning. Are you a fan of the morning practices or later in the afternoon?
Well, I can't honestly say I'm a fan of either. I mean, my experience, of course, was in the afternoon. All I knew is I went to class at 8 o'clock, and I was done by noon. I ate at the training table and had my ankles taped by 1:30 for meetings, practiced from 3 to 5, lifted weights, and then we went to training table. I think there's a lot of research. I think there's science around where bodies are, where recovery is. And, the most important thing for me is I want, and I think Matt does as well, it doesn't matter when you practice necessarily. And by the way, I think this staff is going to continue the tradition of practicing in the morning.
Okay.
Might look a little bit different in terms of time. But the most important thing for me is I want our athletes to be students too. I want them, to not just sit over here and take online classes. I know online classes will be part of it, but I really think part of being a student athlete is being a student too. Getting to walk across campus and going to the union and being a part of the student body and interacting and interfacing with them. Coach Rule's talked about that as well. I mean, that's part of a holistic and healthy student athlete experience, and so we want to do that.
Doug on our text line said, do you have plans for the Osborne complex once the new one opens?
So we're working on that. That's been part of, and in fact, we had a big committee meeting today that was wonderful. So as part of our holistic planning around Memorial Stadium, that's what we've talked about previously too. We have 315,000 square feet coming online in the Go Big project. So all of that programming that was part of Memorial Stadium is now moving. And so, I'm not an expert in these areas, so engaging the right experts to look at how do we re-engage, that space. There's opportunities for us. There's a lot of different thinking around it. There's some integration of academic program as well. I mean, when you think about, I don't want to go too deep here, but when Memorial Stadium was built 100 years ago, it's kind of built way over there on the other side of campus. Well, naturally, campus over the 100 years has grown into, and so what you're seeing on a lot of these stadiums across the country is they're trying to integrate the stadium more within the campus experience for the students. And I think that's a really healthy thing, too. Athletics needs to continue being part of the campus experience, not separated from it. So we're going to look into all those types of opportunities, and I think the beauty is we've got enough space here that we can accommodate most anything that you can think of that would be pretty cool for our fans and reflective of our history.
Let's head to the phones. Let's go down to Kansas. Joe, you're up with Trev Alberts. Good evening.
Oh, good evening. Thank you for taking my call. Trev, I've got a question or maybe a request for you to consider.
Okay.
And that is prior to your coming on board and with prior coaches, before the spring game, there would be I'll call it a tailgate for donors that was set up in the Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
And the program consisted, and you may not be familiar with this, but the program would usually consist of the athletic director making an appearance, and also there would normally be a brief appearance by the football coach, but then there would be appearances by other members of the athletic department, and the athletic director would use this as sort of an opportunity to discuss where things were at, new things that were going on, and particularly if there were building projects or expansions that were involved. I really enjoyed those programs and felt they were helpful for me. The other thing that I would request is that if such an event were reestablished, to not use the term products that was often used with your prior athletic directors. And the reason is it wasn't the product that brought me to continue to renew my season ticket every year, nor do I think it was the product that on the field that continued the sellout streak. It was more fans feeling committed to the program and university and the athletic department in general, and feeling connected. And whereas when the reference to products started being made, especially in the latter years, that made it sound too commercial to me, which was not the reason or the purpose for me continuing to renew my tickets.
Well,
so anyway, that's...
Yeah, Joe, first of all, I really appreciate the call. And I think what he's talking about is, the Husker experience and the fan experience can't be transactional. It has to be relationship driven. And I think that's when we've been at our best, where our donors and our fans felt like they, had access to and interactive with, the program. And so I'll do a little research, Joe, on that. I wasn't aware of that event. I think it makes a lot of sense to get donors and fans in a room, be able to talk about state of the state type of deal. Obviously, at the spring game, we're not going to be quite able to talk about some of the facilities things because we won't be done with our research yet on Memorial Stadium. But I think it's a great idea, and your points are well taken, and I really appreciate him calling.
Joe, thank you. I emceed a couple of those, and he's right. We did it over the Coliseum. There were several hundred people in there, and the athletic, it was a good place.
Well, why did you talk about the product then?
I don't know that I mentioned the word product.
Oh, okay.
Apparently somebody did. So,
well, he's right, though. I mean, when you talk about that, it feels transactional and commercialized, and we need to be very careful about that.
Very cool. All right, let's go up to Omaha next. And Jonathan, good evening. Jonathan, you're up with Trev.
Hey, Trev, how you doing tonight?
Great, Jonathan. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
So I'm pretty notorious around these parts for talking about the sellout streak. And I love it, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against it. And I think it was definitely generous to keep it going on your guys' end and to give back to the community in that aspect. As far as it goes, though, business-wise, is it on the forefront of your mind business-wise, or maybe on a personal level as a former player and the athletic director? How do you view the sellout streaks in those kind of two aspects? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Jonathan, it's a great question, and it really isn't a business component to the decision-making process. I mean, your ticket revenue is what your ticket revenue is, and ultimately, the way I viewed it, and as a player, if you ask me as a player, was it important? I don't know that the sellout streak itself as a player. What was important to me as a player was a lot of people were there. I mean, it was, you love playing in front of a crowd, a boisterous crowd that, was really into the game. For me, the way I view this is this is about the fans, and we haven't, in my opinion at least, gone to extraordinary lengths to try to maintain. It's been fans, it's been donors, it's been really important to certain folks who take a lot of pride in it as a tradition that is really important to them. So, yeah, we're going to provide avenues and opportunities to maintain it because we enjoy it. We think it's a great thing. But at the end of the day, if we don't have a football program representative of the ideals of our fans, the sellout streak isn't going to last. And so we recognize the importance of this year, and we'll do everything we can to have the kind of product that people, we don't have to worry about our sellout streak. But I'll tell you, in recruiting and other things, it's a big deal. When those young men go out in that stadium and look up and see that number, it's pretty incredible because nobody else has the kind of support and the fan base that we have.
Jonathan, appreciate the phone call. Alumni Hall is your ultimate Husker shopping experience with the largest and best selection of apparel, vault gear, and tailgate accessories. Shop their 2 Lincoln locations or alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Huskers shop. 402-413-2400. A lot more with Trev coming up.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too. making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics to take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. Husker students on the debate team and Bateman competition public relations team earned national championships this past year, marking a first for each program. The debate team claimed victory with one of the youngest teams in the country, while the Bateman competition public relations team won their championship by building a PR campaign for the Lymphoma Research Foundation.
Come support the women's basketball team as we pack PBA on February 18th against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Join the Omaha World Herald, Lincoln Journal-Star, Husker Extra, and Beck's Hybrids in helping the Nebraska women's basketball team pack PBA on February 18th when the Huskers face Iowa. Coach Williams and the Huskers want you there to give them a home court advantage against the Hawkeyes. Purchase your tickets at Huskers.com.
Hello, tomorrow. We may not know exactly what you've got in store for us, for our routines and our normals. But here's the thing. Turns out, we've got this. We haven't seen everything, but we have seen ourselves be more ready for whatever you bring than we thought we would be. So when it comes to tomorrow, bring on the day. First Interstate, built for you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Visit us at firstinterstate.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands, huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you were looking for with Woodhouse. It's our athletic director show for the month of January. 402-413-2400, the number to dot us up with a comment or question. Crypto King in the chat room wants to know if you saw Cam Tater-Britt's interception last week in the NFL playoffs.
Well, I didn't see it live, but boy, I'm so happy for Cam. You know, you look at where his career has gone, and he's an example of a guy that just stuck with it, just kept working, and he got a little bit better and a little bit better, and he's playing at an elite level right now for one of the elite teams. Somebody asked me in the chat, who's my team in the Super Bowl? You know, I got to go with the Bengals.
Sure.
I mean, we got Zach leading the
phenomenal.
charge. He's been incredible. His leadership has been just really incredible for that franchise. Steady hand, and he's a great football coach.
And he loves Nebraska.
He loves Nebraska, stays in touch with Nebraska, and he's back here occasionally.
Sure is. Speaking of the NFL, they have taken away the Big Ten commissioner. Kevin Warren is stepping down, going to go run the Chicago Bears. Your thoughts about that? Where does the league go?
Well, you know, I really enjoyed working with Kevin Warren. You know, I mean, Kevin, I thought, did some incredible things for the Big Ten Conference. I mean, you think about change and innovation, and, you know, those things are hard to do, especially when you've got so many diverse institutions that think differently. But, you know, by adding the LA market, by bringing USC and UCLA in, by negotiating some transformational, you know, multimedia partners and media partners for the future that will ensure we have the resources necessary to compete, I think was critically important. So I think it's a loss. I really do. And, you know, Kevin, I got to develop a personal relationship with him, and I'm going to miss him. Big Ten is, you know, in a really interesting situation right now. When you think about all the transition that we've had at the presidential level, so it's called the COCP, right, chancellors and presidents. And, you know, with Chancellor Green announcing his retirement, when Chancellor Green is no longer part of that group, I think there's maybe one president that has more than a year and a half of experience. So in a time of transformational change in intercollegiate athletics, you know, finding a commissioner that can bring some unity of purpose and some cohesion and collaboration between the athletic directors and the presidents, and still be innovative and forward-thinking in a time of real disruption, it's going to be hard to find, but it's going to be critically important that we do. And so I really enjoyed Kevin, and you know, we're working now as an athletic director group along with the COCP on how we can, you know, transition Kevin. You know, there's a lot of things to get done. We need to make sure, you know, do we go the route of an interim commissioner? How do we handle that? How do we move forward with a search for a new commissioner? But you know, I think the Big Ten's in great shape. We've got great institutions, and I think, you know, we'll be able to attract a really high level of candidate to lead our conference.
You mentioned Chancellor Green. No bigger Husker fans than him and his wife. They love Husker athletics.
Yeah, I'm going to miss Chancellor Green. You know, Ronnie and Jane have been just die-hard Husker supporters, supporters of our coaches, supporters of our student athletes, and obviously I'm biased towards Chancellor Green because he hired me. So just really grateful. Again, we got a transition on our own campus as well. So I thought about that the other day when you think about it. You know, the NCAA hired a new leader who is not from intercollegiate athletics, so it's going to take, you know, him 6 months to a year to figure some things out. We don't have a commissioner in the Big Ten Conference, and my boss, Chancellor Green, is transitioning. So it's just a time of change, and our job is to remain focused, keep working, stay the course, and we'll do the best we can for Husker Nation.
Doug in Norfolk said last month somebody asked you if they could put together a volleyball 101 class. Have you had a chance to ask Coach Cook that question?
Well, you know, Coach Cook is spending time out on the ranch,
yes, he
and
is.
I think he's breaking some more horses out there. But no, I've got a list. John and I have a meeting scheduled. We'll talk a little bit about with all of our coaches when the season's over, I like to sit down and what can we do better? What do we need? So John and I will talk about some of those types of things, but I can't make any commitment to volleyball one-on-one at this point.
They've hit the transfer portal. They've added a young lady from Florida.
They really have. It's we're going to miss Whit. She was one of my favorite players. I mean, the velocity in which she hit the ball, her athleticism. What I loved about her was she turned herself into an amazing volleyball player. And I think there's more volleyball ahead for Whit. I really do. And so, again, John felt he needed to fill a need, and so all of our programs have that opportunity to find young ladies that can help us.
First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com, member FDIC. Need to take our final break of the night, 402-413-2400. Back to finish off the show next.
Nebraska women's basketball offers one of the best values in all of Husker sports, with single-game reserve tickets at Pinnacle Bank Arena for just $15. Adult general admission seating is just $10, while youth and senior general admission tickets are $5. Children 6 and under are just $1. Plans now to bring your whole family to Husker women's basketball for Big Ten home games in January and February. Get your tickets and the full schedule at Huskers.com.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student-athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student-athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first for your next SUV and experience the difference. We offer a full lineup of SUVs so you can find the one that best suits you and your lifestyle. The GMC Terrain and Acadia offer the perfect blend of tech and safety on the road. Or discover the style, comfort, and cargo space of the Buick Enclave. Plus, we make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in-store or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. We are professional grade.
While some seed companies put a greater stake in stock prices and anonymous shareholders, Rob Seco knows that what's important to you hits closer to home. That's why you'll find we're focused on your needs. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, a relationship that makes it easy to connect with anyone in the company, and the technology, traits, and genetics you need from any source. Put your stock in the company that puts you first. Rob Seco.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Nebraska 811 says go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Final few minutes with Trev Alberts, our January show here on Sports Night. He'll be back in February to update us on Husker Athletics. Let's get it. We're in the knee-deep into wrestling season. They've had some really good matches. I know they had a tough one in Iowa the other night, but they'll be home against Wisconsin this weekend. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'd really encourage fans to come out and support, our wrestling program. Coach Manning's done a great job, and going for his 300th win against Wisconsin here at the Devaney Center. So really proud of the effort of Coach Manning and our wrestling program. Got a really good wrestling program, but this is a big one. This is into Devaney against Wisconsin, and I've got this sneaking suspicion. I'm not sure there's a lot of love lost between the two programs. So I think it's wonderful, to watch our young men get out there and compete against the Badgers.
Amy Williams won her 300th game as a college coach a week or so ago. Track and field indoor season, they've had a couple of meets. I know they're headed to Lubbock to compete at Texas Tech over the weekend. The men are up to number 10 in a poll. That's really good.
And Coach St. Clair's done a great job. He's our interim head coach right now and has really taken the mantle from Coach Pepin, who retired, and really has tried to elevate that program. So tremendous worker, done a great job in recruiting, and has really done a great job, shown great leadership. He's another guy that really connects. He connects well with the student athletes. He's a great teacher, and they trust him and believe in him. And it's great to see our program number 10 in the country.
It will not be long. The ball bat sports will get going as well. How about that? That warms me up thinking about that.
Well, in softball, I think they're already out there, or soon. And baseball is soon. I think they're going to have a fan day coming up that was announced. And so we got great leadership in those programs. Both of those programs have some great players coming back, and I know them have some high aspirations as they move forward. So it's just so wonderful to have with the student athletes back, and they're practicing, and you go to the training table, and they're there, and they're interacting. And this is why we're here, right? This is why we're here, to serve these young people, help them to max out, attain greatness in every aspect of their experience.
Let's stay in Lincoln and chat next with Alan. Good evening, Alan. You're up with Trev.
Hello, Mr. Alberts. My name's Al Hansen.
Hi, Al. How are you?
75. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm 75 years old. I hadn't been to a Nebraska football game since I was 11 years old. Used to go to the knothole section. Cost me 50 cents. Nevertheless, a friend of mine who's had tickets for 48 years invited me. I went. I believe it was the Illinois game. A fan in front of me with his young boy started talking to me, and eventually started pointing into the sky, showing me all the paratroopers coming down and the American flag and the national anthem. I'm a Vietnam vet. I should have been killed in 1968 fighting in the infantry, but God saved me. Nevertheless, I was able to stand there and watch all of this. I was amazed. This man found out I was a veteran, turned around and hugged me. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Alberts. If those people in that stadium, all those thousands and thousands of Nebraska fans, are all like this guy, they are fantastic people, and I understand completely why you get sellout crowds all the time. You and all of your staff and everybody in the Nebraska Athletic Department is doing a fantastic job, and Nebraska has the greatest people in the world. Keep up the good work, my friend, and I support you 1,000%.
Wow, I don't know what to say. I think we just end the show there. I mean, what an incredible... That is so kind of you. And first of all, thank you for your service. And I think that's how our fans are. That's exactly what makes game day at Memorial Stadium so special. It's people who care about their fellow man, and we're going to continue doing things like that. We're going to honor those that served. We use this to bring people together. This is a unifier across our state, and that's why I mentioned earlier why I'm just so pleased that First FNBO would help donate so we can get military families to come to the spring game. So come to more games. We appreciate you, and thank you for your kind comments.
Al, yeah, absolutely. Great call. Thank you for coming to the game, and thank you for your service to our country. I'm going to clip that off and send it to you. You might want to share that with the staff.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
They'd like to hear that.
Please do that.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for adjusting your schedule. Now let's go win a game tomorrow night.
Let's do it. We need it. We need it.
Very good. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Trev Alberts with us here, our monthly sit-down with the Husker Athletic Director. Folks, buckle up. Put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We have another hour of Sports Nightly to go. We'll talk about all the day's headlines. Here's some clips from Fred Hoiberg's press conference today as they get ready to play those Northwestern Wildcats tomorrow night. Back with another hour next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woodhouse Nissan makes car buying easy, enjoyable, and stress-free. We will bring the dealership to your driveway with Nissan at Home. You can shop, drive, and buy a new or pre-owned Nissan all from the comfort of your own home. Explore every aspect of the purchasing process at your pace and convenience. Get real pricing on your vehicle of choice, review lease and financing options, and complete a credit application. Get to your next adventure faster with Woodhouse Nissan.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. For the 5th straight year, the University of Nebraska system is a top 100 patent-earning institution. NU system researchers were granted 43 patents in 2021, with UNL researchers named as inventors on 25 of these patents. Husker patents include 3 projects with partners at the University of Nebraska Medical Center and 6 patents for a surgical robot developed by faculty in the College of Engineering.
Since 1993, Dakota Mac has offered fixed long-term ag real estate loans perfect for any stage of life. The rebellious 15-year loan, the Here for Laundry 20-year loan, and the 30-year loan who thinks they can tell you a thing or two about parenting. Whatever your needs, trust Dakota Mac with your legacy.
Hi, it's Nick Reno from Dakota Mac. Please call me at 308-380-7564 to learn all about our competitive rates on ag real estate loans.
Fires 3 ball, no good. Rebound to Gary. Gary fights for it on the floor, puts the Vandermill. This has been a thing of beauty, my friends, in every respect.
Hey Husker fans, tune in tomorrow with Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen as the men's basketball team faces off against Northwestern. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 5 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red!
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Another day, another commitment for Matt Rule's Cornhuskers. Four-star wide receiver Demetrius Bell, who visited Lincoln this past weekend, announced on social media that he has committed. The 6'1" product of Nashville, Tennessee, chose Nebraska over Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Kentucky. Bell will sign on February the 1st. That's the next signing day for college football. Husker Athletics announced today that tickets for the April 22nd spring game will go on sale next week. Season ticket holders will get first crack on Tuesday. Then the general public can purchase tickets starting Wednesday at 10 a.m. Tickets are $10, but for students 12th grade and younger, you can get them for just $1. Also, for veterans and active military personnel, you can get up to 4 tickets starting on Monday by going to huskers.com/FNBO. Husker Volleyball announced their beach schedule for this winter. The Big Red will play 20 matches, including 4 at the Hawks Championship Center. Their first match will be a home one on February 24th against Wayne State. College basketball tonight on the men's side in the Big Ten. Rutgers leads Penn State 53-40 second half. They're at halftime in Champaign. Illinois leading Ohio State 34-26. The Baseball Hall of Fame announced this afternoon that former St. Louis Cardinals third baseman Scott Rowland will be inducted this summer to Cooperstown. The winner of 8 Gold Gloves, Rowland was the only one among the 28 finalists to get enough votes to be enshrined. At the Australian Open later tonight, it's an All-American quarterfinal with Ben Shelton against Tommy Paul. Shelton was an NCAA men's champion at Florida last year. Our sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative, helping Husker student-athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Meyer, another 3. This one's not good. The rebound and a great block out by Griesel. Vanderbilt's got the ball. 4-0 run to start the second half. Wilcher drives the basketball, splits a double. Oh! What a play! Wilcher, what a fantabulous play! There's our play of the game.
Wow, what a finish by C.J. Wilcher. And the first time tonight, the crowd is on their feet. A little 6-0 run to start the second half.
Kaiser, left low block, guarded by Stewart. Knock away and a steal for Kendall Moriarty. Here come the Huskers with 1:06 to go in the second quarter. There it is. Trailing by 11. 3 ball, Lonnie Stewart all alone. You betcha! Off the steal and assist from Kendall Moriarty. Timeout, Kim Barnes-Zarico.
And here come the Husker crowd.
To Jazz Shelley.
Throw it back.
Jazz has a double team. Throws it deep left side. Kellen Hake for 3. You betcha!
Griesel bring it across the timeline. How about a couple of quick baskets here? Down 10, deep left corner, Jamarcus Lawrence 3. Got it! Nothing but net. Swishola, a CBA 3 for Jamarcus Lawrence.
Hot top, Hybe has it. Huskers looking for a road win over a top 5 team. Hybe driving and scoring down the left lane line. That was classic Sam Hybe.
Yeah, good pace by Sammy. Nebraska answers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Sports Nightly here on a Tuesday night. Thanks for rolling with us tonight. We were supposed to have men's basketball. That got moved to tomorrow because of some COVID issues with the Northwestern Wildcats, so we shifted things around a little bit. Hope you enjoyed last hour with Trev Alberts. That was phenomenal. Great hour. Lots of wonderful information in there. And how about that last caller?
Yeah, that was great.
One of the best call we've ever had.
You know, he just wanted to relay his information. So shout out to the producers back there saying, no, people need to hear that story. I'm so glad he did. It was, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see the reaction. I mean, whether you're listening or you're watching on the YouTube chat, but we were all just in here like, wow, you know, like the just how incredible that call was. And, you know, sometimes you need to hear those kinds of stories. And so I was appreciative. So really glad he called in and decided to go on the air.
Absolutely. And you think about it, and I know they recognize of a military person at all the basketball games as well, and sometimes maybe you sit there in the stands and you're distracted or you're looking at your phone, and just think how much that day meant for him and the flyover and the parachute troopers coming in with the ball, how much that meant to that man. And think about for those veterans in PBA or wherever they are, we're honoring somebody. That means a lot to those people.
It does, and there's so much work that goes into it, and it's not just, one team. You think about Husker Vision and the big screen, and Alex Wood and his crew does such a good job marketing, Alex Harris and his crew, that they all come together, and what can we do to add the different entertainment in venue. I mean, it's a lot of people that come together to try to make all of this happen, and it's almost all of us know somebody that has been impacted by the military, but then, there are certain people that, just like that calls in. I mean, Hunter Anthony, I did a feature on him this year, offensive lineman with the team. His dad was in the military, and just how much it means and to everybody. And when you take a second to appreciate the service, it means a lot. It really does. It means a lot to just hear and see that, hey, we appreciate everything that you're doing to make this even possible for us to even have this football game here today.
Stephen Bellevue on our text line said, wow, the last caller just brought tears. What a great call. Save that one. We definitely will be saving that call as well. Also, Jim in Columbus wanted to know if they would be doing a grand opening for the public for the new building. That's to be determined because it kind of depends on the timing of it opening. And right now it looks like the timing of the opening might be about the time football camp starts. So they're probably not going to want a lot of people walking around when they start getting into camp in August.
Yeah, and I think they'll still find a way to, because right now fans can come in and see all the trophies and the Heismans and the national championship trophies and all of that. And I would imagine it'll be a process because you got to get everything transferred over there. And so I would imagine eventually, yes, that will be something that can be done. But it's going to be, I'm sitting down with Corey Campbell tomorrow, the director of strength and conditioning here for football. And he had told me about how, the plans that he is trying to get in place for the new weight room, and that is going to be, again, last minute right up until the point of when they just really hit the ground running with fall camp. So it's going to be tricky with the timing, but I bet eventually it will be something that fans can go in and see. But I would think for sure there will still be a spot where you can come in and see all the trophies and all of that.
Corey have his voice?
I think so, hopefully.
Losing his voice last week.
Well, that was the first day.
A lot of yelling and going. Demetrius Bell, as I put it in the ticker, committed to Nebraska today. Man, impressive offer list with Georgia and Alabama and Ole Miss in there as well. That's a really good get this late in the process. He was here last weekend. Yeah,
I talked to him, actually. I got a chance to interview him, and, I think that depth at wide receiver, we heard Coach Satterfield talking about that when he met with the media about how if there is a need and just at wide receiver and getting not so much, that there's not good wide receivers, but you want different types of wide receivers. And so, getting a little bit of everything in that room. And so I think getting another playmaker that you can throw the ball to, he's fun. So I think his recruiting process changed a little bit. So he kind of came up open late, had some options to be able to go on another official visit. And I just, again, you get those kids on campus, and it is hard for them to say no, and especially with this staff in particular and how energetic they are and how passionate they are. I mean, the more you talk to them, the more, you just, even me personally, you just get more excited to get involved and what can I do to help, and it's contagious. And then you get here and these kids buy into it, and I think it's really, really hard for kids to say no once they get here on campus and start talking to this group.
Their hit rate from last weekend was, I don't think it's quite at 100%, but I think there's one or two that haven't even decided yet, and they still could come here. That's impressive. I don't think they'll have quite as big a group coming this weekend. And then it begs the question, all right, you're over the limit. There is some lenience for a first-year head coach, but there is another transfer portal that's going to open up mid-April through the first part of May, and I think you're going to see some Huskers leave. Again, don't panic. That's going to play itself out. That's going to put a lot of importance on those 15 spring practices. Guys are going to have to show out, or they may not have a spot on this football team.
Yeah, and I think, again, there's some situations where with some scholarships that, the numbers might look differently. And there's so much that goes into how you stack up those scholarships and all of that. And so, I don't think it's so necessarily just set in stone, these are the 15 that we're over right now and that's what we got to figure out. But I think there's just, again, there's some circumstances surrounding some of the scholarships. So we'll see how that shakes out in that regard. But yeah, come in, you got to perform, you got to earn your spot. And I think too, and I think it's not so much either this staff saying, oh, well, you didn't earn your scholarship, there probably are going to be some guys too that get a feel for this staff and then say, you know what, it's probably not the right fit for me. And maybe I can go somewhere else and play and have a bigger impact. I mean, it's just, how much are we talking about these kids from Georgia who are coming here that probably maybe had the conversation that, okay, I might not have the kinds of opportunities here that I could have elsewhere. And it might be the same conversations that are going to be had, that it's not so much that there's, hey, you got to get out. We don't have enough opportunities for you. We don't have enough bodies. We don't have enough scholarships. We're taking your scholarship away. It's more so a mutual conversation of, you know what, let me go somewhere where I can make a bigger impact, and it might be a better fit for me personally. It could be on the kids' decision as well. So yeah, I think there's going to be some more changes. We'll see, but a lot to figure out, and no need to panic right now on that front.
Folks, buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Anything else that Trev had last hour that hit you? I'm glad the announcement has come out about spring game tickets. I think the ticket office is going to be slammed on Tuesday, with season ticket holders getting first crack at it, and then the general public opening the phone lines for that. And as I told Trev, I love the fact that you're going to let high school on down get in for $1. I think that's fantastic, because so many people can't afford a full season ticket in the fall, but they can come and do this in the spring.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. And, you know, hearing about the sellout streak, I think a lot of people think that the athletics department is trying to make it happen and begging to make it happen. But, you know, there were people that really stepped up. It was not something that was really, you know, was it talked about? Absolutely. But it was something where, you know, these are donors or fans or people that it means a lot to have stepped in and say, no, we want to keep it going, and we'll find ways to buy the tickets and give them out to people that can come, whether it be the red carpet charter or red carpet experience, or, you know, the military families, whatever it might be. But it's not something that it's like we're pushing it or the athletics department is pushing it. It is something that's important to fans and long-term fans to keep this streak going. I also, you know, I thought it was funny, and I told him this in a commercial break, how he was breaking down the basketball teams. I mean, again, we joke about how much he's a competitor. He likes to win. But if you watch him down there on the sideline and how much he gets invested in all the sports, you know, I mean, he's at volleyball games. He goes to games. And as an athletic director, I think it's important, and it means a lot to these programs for him to show up and be there and be seen. He's right there, right by the court. And you can see him and how much it means to him, you know, for these teams to perform well and win. And, you know, I was saying, hey, you might be a basketball analyst. Maybe we could have you step in for Jeff Greesh or Jay Muehlheisen sometime. But, you know, it just means a lot to him that all of the programs are successful. And it just kills him when they are dealt blows like what both the basketball teams have been dealt this season.
He sits at the scores table for volleyball. I'll see him right there next to the people that are charting up the scores.
Oh, yeah. I think he sits there at that same spot for wrestling, too.
Does he? Okay. And the big match on Sunday, as he mentioned, against Wisconsin for that as well. One last kind of comment about the sellout streak. And I want to credit last year's football team and that interim staff, because I think that streak was in real jeopardy of going away. But the way guys like Bill Bush coached his heart out, and I think people were drawn to that. And the way that team hung together and fought hard, people wanted to come out and watch those last couple home games of the year, where if they didn't do that, I think that streak might have gone away. So I want to give a little credit to that 2022 team and that interim staff that I thought really hung in there pretty darn well.
Yeah, and how loud was it those last couple of games, too? I mean,
and we weren't going for a bowl game. I mean, all that was gone by then.
Yeah, they had won 3 games at this point, and it was loud. Wisconsin, there was times where it was just like, it was so loud down there, and that it meant a lot.
Was that the really cold game too? It was cold that day.
Was it Wisconsin or Minnesota?
I think it was Wisconsin.
Well, both of those games were pretty loud, but there were times where it got, you know, really, really loud, and I know it meant a lot to those players down there, and yeah, they didn't quit, and that's why I keep going back to the point of, I think a lot of places had a coaching change. We've seen it. A lot of places that have had coaching changes have had a lot more guys enter the portal. And there hasn't been here. There hasn't been as many.
Nope.
And I think that these guys, and we'll start talking to them more and more, and I do think they believe in Coach Rule, and the staff has already done a good job of recruiting these guys and getting in there and talking to them and having those conversations. And so I think that obviously the players have to believe in the direction that this program is headed. But I also think there's a big group of those guys that have been through a lot of battles together, and they want want to stick it out together. They know how close they were. And, to add a few more pieces to get this coaching staff in, I think they want to stick it out together. I think they want to stick together. And, that goes back to what you're saying about how close this team was. They didn't give up. They kept fighting. And I think there's a group of core guys that want to stick it out and stick together and do it with this new coaching staff.
Evan Cooper was asked when he was in front of the media a week or so ago, he said, what did you see? He goes, they played hard. He goes, they played so hard. And they did. And that's a credit to those kids because the bowl game was gone by early November. You knew we weren't going to a bowl game, and yet those kids came out there and busted it every week. That's a credit to them, again, that interim staff. So I just wanted to say that. Sam in Omaha said, I saw Coach Rural was on Will Compton's podcast, Bussin' with the Boys. Excited to listen. I've not heard it. Hearing good reports about it. I heard Coach Rural was fantastic. I'm sure he was, but I've not heard it yet. I know the chat room has been talking about that quite a bit tonight. And then Irvin Scotter says, I've heard you guys say that you expect a football game in the spring. Why do you believe that? Well, I think that's kind of in reference, Irv. Last year in the spring game, they didn't tackle to the ground in the first half. They did in the second half. They did what they call thud, and that's where you make contact, you wrap your arms around a guy, but you don't pull him to the ground. I think Coach Rural will actually play a full kind of blown hard contact game. Well,
and there's a lot more bodies with this team. I do want to go back to, I understand that it was not as fun to watch.
We had
but
five defensive linemen.
The defensive line was so thin, and even the offensive line at that point didn't have a lot of, because Teddy wasn't back. Nope. He hadn't gone through spring.
Turner was out.
So both the lines were pretty thin, and I just think Luke Reimer was out. Inside linebacker was thin.
Yeah.
Because Ernest, that's where he really got a lot of experience, was playing in the spring, because Luke Reimer didn't practice at all in the spring. So they had some positions they were very, very thin at. And you just can't expect, they didn't have enough to have a full team. And so, I do want to, at least vouch for them there, that it was pretty hard to do. I was at Oklahoma for several years for their spring game, and they never had the chance to do that because they didn't have the depth that they needed to be able to do that. So not a lot of places have that kind of luxury, but I think this year, obviously, we've seen there's a lot of players. They have a lot of bodies to figure things out. I think they'll have the capabilities to be able to put that out there this season as opposed to last year.
You watch a lot, and BTN does a pretty good job of showing a lot of spring games. Very few people even play anywhere close to a full game. Nebraska has done that for years. That's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Last year was a little different, but you're exactly right. We might have had 3 or 4 healthy defensive linemen. You can't play a game with that. You can't fill 2 teams with that.
No, and yeah, you can't fill 2 teams, but then you also, if you're going full out and you don't have a sub, you can't just expect those guys to play. They don't get to go off when the offense goes on, So it's like it was just a really challenge to be able to do anything other than what was done.
Yeah.
So
our Sports Signing Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands, a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. 402-413-2400. Lines, texts, and phones open for you. Keep them coming. Love all the texts we've been getting tonight. Had some fantastic callers in the first hour with Trev. Keep those coming tonight as well. When we come back, Fred Hoiberg met with the media today to preview the Northwestern game and to talk about the devastating loss of Emmanuel Bandamel, out for the year with an injury. We'll cover all that coming up next.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. UNL has been awarded over $14 million by the U.S. Department of Commerce to expand robotics research and teaching spaces, part of a $25 million award given to the state of Nebraska to advance robotics research. The funding will allow the university to educate and train the next generation of Nebraska workers, entrepreneurs, and innovators for careers of the future.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Kick off the new year in a new Jeep SUV or Ram truck. From Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Blair during the Start Something New sales event. Woodhouse is your trusted Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer for over 30 years with an extensive inventory and sales experts who will guide you to the vehicle fit for your lifestyle. Find your next vehicle online at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdownsforteachers.
Come support the women's basketball team as we pack PBA on February 18th against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Join the Omaha World Herald, Lincoln Journal-Star, Husker Extra, and Beck's Hybrids in helping the Nebraska women's basketball team pack PBA on February 18th when the Huskers face Iowa. Coach Williams and the Huskers want you there to give them a home court advantage against the Hawkeyes. Purchase your tickets at huskers.com.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases. And there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdownsforteachers.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. It is a Tuesday night here on Sports Nightly. We were not supposed to have a show tonight. We're supposed to be listening to Kent and Jake and the Huskers against Northwestern. That game got moved to tomorrow. COVID issues with the Cats. They ended up playing Wisconsin last night. They won. And now they flew in today to Lincoln. They'll be ready to play Huskers tomorrow night. 6 o'clock tip, 5 o'clock for pregame coverage here. Yesterday, we got the news that breaks your heart, and that was that Emmanuel Bandemel out for the rest of the year with a knee injury that's going to require some surgery for him. Today was the first time that Coach Hoiberg met the media to talk about the impact of losing Emmanuel and what's ahead for that young man.
You know what, I think the big thing is just Emmanuel's spirits right now. I mean, he's the same guy that he's always been. Came in with a big smile on his face and was a great leader for our guys over on the sideline. So I think when they see that, they know that he's going to continue to be with them and lead them. And obviously it's a huge blow for our guys. We kind of expected it after the initial evaluation at the game the other day, but then once reality sets in after the scan results come back, it is a big blow. And then you just start looking at, first of all, after, just how sick you are for the kid that his college career is ending this way after never being injured his entire life. He's never had an ankle sprain, never had anything wrong, and just has a freak injury where he planted, and now his career's over. So it's devastating from that standpoint, just because of what we all think about Emmanuel, just how big he was to get everything flipped for us this year, how much of a catalyst he was in that area. And he's not going to be out there with us anymore on the floor. So it's tough when something happens to such a great kid like that. And now the focus for him shifts to how are we going to help him through this, how we getting him through the rehab process, and then helping him hopefully have a long, productive professional career. So that's the initial, with the kid. As far as the adjustments that we're going to have to make, obviously you're taking our two best perimeter defenders off the floor with he and Jawan in the last week. And there's going to have to be adjustments. Different guys are going to have to play different roles. We're going to have to play a little bit more like we did at Purdue when Griesel was out of the lineup with some big lineups. Sam Hoiberg is going to have to be ready to go out there and play. And, it's what you prepare yourself for these opportunities. Even though he hasn't gotten significant minutes, he comes in every day and gets extra work in, so he's going to have to be prepared. Different guys are going to play different positions, and they're going to have to play a lot of minutes, but they're ready for it. So, the sting of losing, your emotional leader on the floor, your defender, the guy that kind of is the head of the snake and gets it all rolling for you, he's not going to be there anymore in these last 11 regular season games. So guys are going to have to step up. I'm confident they will, and we're going to continue to go out there and battle and play hard and leave everything on the floor.
God, just breaks your heart. And, I mean, that's a coach that's hurting for a guy that means a lot to him in this program in a very short time, and just has helped set the tone for what this team is and change kind of the mentality and the mindset. I mean, they asked a lot of Emmanuel, and he rose to the challenge and did that. And we talked a little bit about it last night with Ernie Ziegler about, Coach Hoiberg is making sure that Emmanuel is taken care of, because it's different when you got a kid that's got eligibility left, but here's one that his college career is done, but they're making sure that he's getting the help that he needs, the surgery, the rehab, all of that. What can we do to help you make sure that you heal in the best way possible? And do you need to finish your degree? All of that. So I know that this staff is making sure that they are doing everything they can to make sure that Emmanuel is taken care of. But it's crazy to think that he hasn't even been here. He hadn't even been here 6 months.
Nope.
And look how much he means to this program, this team, this fan base, this head coach, And so, but I said it last night. I'll say it again. It hurts. You lose Jawan, you lose Emmanuel, but you still got two really incredible leaders in Derek Walker and Sam Griesel, and so they'll have to carry the load the rest of the way.
I know Coach Hoiberg's not at all happy with his record at Nebraska, but he has not had really any luck mean, you go back to last year. You lose Trey McGowens for a good chunk of that season. Probably the guy you could lose.
And Wilhelm.
And then Wilhelm gets hurt. Now, you still had Bryce and Lat. I mean, you still had other guys. But Trey is a little bit like Emmanuel, just a guy that would do a lot of the dirty work, get a rebound, get a steal, do something to really ignite a team. To lose those in back-to-back years, that's hard.
Yeah, and I think Emmanuel, too, is probably... I know it hasn't seemed like it, but he's a better scorer than Trey McGowens. You know, he came in and has the potential to be a better scorer, and the way that he's also led and been an example to those younger guys, to guys like Jamarcus Lawrence and Denham Dawson. I mean, he's been such a leader, and I'm not saying that Trey wasn't, but just the buy-in and the way that he's worked so well with Sam Griesel, and it's just, he's just a huge part.
Interesting.
And
he can speak French, and so he talks to Blaise in French because he says Blaise's French is better than his English. So he would be on the floor talking to him in French to help Blaise get lined up right. That's just the kind of guy he is. Just a great dude.
He really is. He's awesome, and I don't know. I thought it was neat, too. I mean, he was so proud of Denham Dawson after the win over Ohio State. Right. I mean, this is just a guy that's just made tremendous mark on this program in a very short time, and it sucks so bad to see anybody go down, but then it's even worse when it's a guy like Emmanuel Bandamel, and then you have watched him play his last game in a Husker uniform.
One guy that Coach Hoiberg did not mention is Jamarcus Lawrence. He's obviously going to have to play quite a bit more. Here's the coach talking about Jamarcus.
Yeah, I mean, it's invaluable experience for what Jamarcus is getting right now. And he's going out there. You see how hard he's playing. He gives us a defensive presence. I've said all along how impressed I've been with Jamarcus, with how quickly he picked up the defensive concepts. That's always the biggest adjustment when you go from high school to college is the defensive end of the floor. And he is really he's a film junkie. The kid absolutely loves it. He's in the gym all the time and always wanting to learn. He's a sponge, and a lot of times you don't get guys like that as freshmen. They have to grow into that and learn it, but he's got that as an innate quality in him. So he's playing two guard positions. He's going to be asked, obviously, to play more point now with Emmanuel out of the lineup. And, right now Sam is our third point. So, it's just going to have to be guys. We're fortunate to have Derek, who can initiate offense for us. Wilhelm, at times, is going to have to play that role as a guy that can initiate and get the ball down the floor. But it's going to have to be by committee. You're not going to replace Juwan Gary and Emmanuel Bandamel with one guy. It's going to have to be by committee and go out there and make up a little bit. The biggest thing that doesn't change is you still have to go out there and compete and play hard, and I'm confident our guys will do that.
So here come the Cats. The Wildcats shut down for about 6 days with COVID issues. They had to reschedule a game with Iowa. They had to move the Wisconsin game from Saturday to last night. They had to bump the Huskers game back a day. But they're playing pretty good basketball. They picked up a win last night over Wisconsin. Here's Coach Hoiberg talking about Northwestern.
Yeah, and they've got great guards. Obviously, Bowie and Adij are both having phenomenal seasons, and both coming off great games last night. A very impressive win against Wisconsin. Defensively, they're phenomenal this year. I mean, top 10 in the country in defense. Their high steal team, Adij is number 1 in the league. Ty Berry's number 5 in steals. That creates a lot of offense for them. But they just put you in a difficult spot. Been really impressed with Nicholson, his development. He puts a lot of heat on the rim, and with Barron, when they slide him into that small lineup, a guy that can step out and shoot it just puts a lot of stress on your defense. And then Bowie's one of the best individual isolation players in our league. So yeah, they put you in a tough spot based on their system and the players where they put them on the floor. But you see what it is when you got 5 guys out there that can make shots. Puts you in a tough position defensively.
And we'll wrap up with this. We've talked about this, that this was a really long break between semesters. It began yesterday, so the students are finally back. So the Huskers had a batch of home games, Queens and Iowa, Illinois, that they didn't have students in the stands to help root them on. Here's Coach Hoiberg talking about getting some students' energy back into PBA.
You know what? It's going to be, first of all, this has been the longest break I think that's ever happened in a college. It seems like our students, it's been months since they've been here, so it's going to be awesome to get them back in the building tomorrow. And, we're excited to play in front of our fans. I think the fans appreciate what this group has brought, and they're going to continue to bring it. And, we're down some guys, but that doesn't change our approach. That doesn't change, our goal of going in every night and giving ourselves a chance to win. So, we appreciate everything we've gotten from a support standpoint this year. And we promise that we're going to continue to go out there and dive on the floor and try to get every loose ball and play hard and be the harder playing, more together team. That doesn't change, even though we're down some pretty darn good players out there. So, we appreciate everything, and we're going to continue to go out there and do everything we can to make our fans proud.
Students make a difference. They really do.
They do. And they show up and they get there. And I think they're giving away hoops, right, tomorrow? Did I see that?
Is that right?
Yeah, little mini hoops. And so...
Could we get one in here? We need one in here.
I know, we do. We do. You guys have games going on where you try to get the volleyball up on the windowsill.
We need a hoop in here.
I mean, there's all kinds of silly games. So, yeah, we need to hit up marketing to see if we can get one of those. We'll promote the students to come in. Hey, when you have giveaways, they need to give us the giveaways first.
Absolutely.
Like, what are we doing here?
I'm just tired of seeing Andrew go by behind you in the scooter.
I mean, yeah. Oh, he's about to come.
Still has
he's thinking
no helmet.
about it.
He still doesn't have a helmet yet. We got to get that helmet for him. So, all right, 6 o'clock tomorrow night, 5 o'clock pregame coverage, Huskers and the Northwestern Wildcats. Folks, check out the Husker Extra mobile app from the team at Lincoln Journal-Star. It's the best place for everything Husker sports. Search the App Store for Husker Extra and download it today. 402-413-2400, the number to call or text. Back with more of the show coming up.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Have you come to a decision yet, sir?
Well, I like the sports car.
It is fun.
I also love the truck.
Yes, sir.
And the SUV is beautiful.
Definitely.
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
Well, I think we'll take it.
Which one, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the dealership.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Fires 3-ball, no good. Rebound to Gary. Gary fights for it on the floor, puts to Vandermill. This has been a thing of beauty, my friends, in every respect.
Hey, Husker fans. Tune in tomorrow with Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen as the men's basketball team faces off against Northwestern. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 5 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Your story. It lives in River City, where you can enjoy a metropolitan vibe and a small town feel, where we set the standard for service and looking out for one another, where there's so much more than steak in our thriving food scene. Your story is the story of Omaha, told by those who live it and love it, whether that's helping you keep up with the Cornhuskers or creating the content you crave. And here in the Omaha World Herald is where it comes to life. Omaha World Herald, where your story lives.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Come support the women's basketball team as we pack PBA on February 18th against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Join the Omaha World Herald, Lincoln Journal-Star, Husker Extra, and Beck's Hybrids in helping the Nebraska women's basketball team pack PBA on February 18th when the Huskers face Iowa. Coach Williams of the Huskers wants you there to give them a home court advantage against the Hawkeyes. Purchase your tickets at Huskers.com. Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you Tuesday night here on the Huskers Radio Network. Men's basketball final, Rutgers beat Penn State by 20, 65-45. I really like Rutgers' team. Last night, major upset on the women's side. Iowa goes into Columbus and gives Ohio State their first loss.
I don't know if that's a major upset, but it's, I mean, I disagree because Ohio State is still down a couple of players.
They are, that's true.
And they have been playing with fire for a lot of games where they've had to come back and they've almost lost and they've had to fight from behind. Iowa is a tough team. They can put up the points. If you get behind on them and they keep scoring, you're going to have you can't just trade baskets with Iowa. And so Iowa's a good team. They figured some things out, and Nebraska plays them coming up on Saturday. So I don't know. I think Iowa's there. Iowa is a team that if they are hitting, they can beat anybody in the country. But if they're a team that if they aren't hitting, that they can be beaten. But I think that was going to be a good matchup, and Ohio State was due for a loss, and they're probably going to be glad that they got that pressure off because everyone was trying to handle that loss. A lot of times that can be hard to deal with if you're undefeated, but I think that was probably coming for them, the way that they've been playing with a little bit of fire.
Caitlin Clark, triple-double, 28,
She's so
10
good.
rebounds, 15 assists. Also on the women's side last night, Indiana, number 6, went on the road and beat number 13, Michigan, 92-83. So the two road teams in the league last night got wins. All four of those teams are going to, I think, have a good March. They're all really good.
Yes, yeah. I mean, and Iowa got bounced early last year. I think they're going to be on a mission. Indiana has, they just reload. They so good, and we'll see. To me, I feel like Michigan is a little streaky, depending on how they come out and play. Sometimes they look really good, sometimes they don't. And so, but yeah, those three at the top. To me, Ohio State, Iowa, and Indiana could be teams. Those easily could be Elite Eight, Final Four teams.
Huskers have an entire week, and I think they kind of need that to kind of catch their breath a little bit. Now, obviously, it ends with a tough one at Iowa on Saturday, but I just feel like Amy needs just 4 or 5 days just to get them in the gym and not game plan and go back and kind of do some fundamental work and do that, clear their head a little bit. Everybody gets one off week in the season. This is it for them. I think they kind of need this.
They do. I mean, I think they were just like, they were so disappointed with how they played on Sunday. I was watching, I went, and it was just, who is this team? It just is. That's just not how they don't turn it over like that. They hit shots when they're open, and they just had such a tough first half that, I think they have had with the loss of Allison Widener has been, they've had some trouble figuring out kind of who they are and who is in what role, and Jazz is having a little bit of a tough time right now, and I know
she's just in a funk,
but yet she still does so many things on the defensive end.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Emmanuel Bandamel a little bit, except we've seen Jazz put them up and score 30 points, but yet she always guards the best player and locks down defensively, Amy Williams is quick to compliment her for that, but we need her to score more. We need her to put the ball in the basket for this team to continue to be successful.
And maybe this week they can put some actions in just for her. They can put a couple more sets in for her, run her off double screens or whatever it is, and just go, you got to shoot. And I see she's in a funk. In a way, that's not really right because she's not missing shots. She's not taking shots. That's the thing. She's got to be a little bit more aggressive, I think, on the offensive end. Yeah, and I think, too, we've had this discussion before. I think that this team, I think Alexis Markowski a lot of times needs somebody else to be going to get going, and that's what opens things up for her. That's where she is really dangerous, is when there's somebody for her to play off of a little bit. And because we've seen her absolutely take over games, but a lot of times it comes after someone else has started the scoring, and then things open up for her. She tweaked her ankle again. Hopefully she'll be back. But yeah, I think it's just been a little bit of a struggle, but one good game to get Jazz going again, and then boy, that lid could come off because we've seen her. She can put them up. I just think maybe just dealing with a little bit of confidence, and I do think it's changed a lot how this team plays when Allison Widener's at the point than when she's not at the point, and so I think it's just been an adjustment. But Callan Hake has stepped up. She is.
The little freshman has been great.
Taking advantage of the playing time.
And Maddie Kroll has had some flashes of playing really good. So I think you're seeing some other players realize that, okay, here's my time to step up. Because they do. They need a full team to step up.
Our next Amy Williams show will be Thursday, hour number 2 of Sports Highlights. So look forward to that, having Coach in studio for a full hour. Folks, buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back to wrap this little ditty up next.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Mazda lineup of SUVs will provide safety, performance, and capability on your journey ahead. From the 3-row Mazda CX-9 to the first ever Mazda CX-50, our sales team is ready to guide you to the SUV for your lifestyle. Shop the Omaha Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers at Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or Woodhouse Place Mazda. Visit us online for your next Mazda SUV at woodhousemazda.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Fires 3-ball, no good. Rebound to Gary. Gary fights for it on the floor, flips to Vandermill. This has been a thing of beauty, my friends, in every respect.
Hey Husker fans, tune in tomorrow with Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen as the men's basketball team faces off against Northwestern. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. with pregame coverage beginning at 5 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red!
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. Final few minutes of our Tuesday show. No show tomorrow. Men's basketball, 6 o'clock tip, 5 o'clock pregame. Thursday night, whoa, what a treat. You're going to sit down with the great Amon Green.
Yes, I am. I'm excited.
Just don't let Andrew
fanboy. Oh, I think it's too late for that.
Late.
I mean, you guys were just having a discussion. What do you think fans would say?
Best running back in Nebraska history?
Andrew maintains that it's Amon Green.
Amon would be in that conversation. There's no question about that. Most people, I think, would say Lawrence Phillips. We can probably get some instant reaction out of the chat room when they get caught up with us on the stream. But I think most people, and Mike Rozier won the Heisman, obviously. He's got to be in that discussion too, but I think a lot of people would say probably Lawrence Phillips, but Amon was terrific.
You know, we get people coming in the studio to do interviews all the time, and you're supposed to act like, you know, you've been here and done that. Not Andrew. He had to take a picture with him, so Amon's so nice, he didn't mind.
He was okay with it?
Yeah, he's cool.
I don't remember him doing that with Damon when Damon came in. He didn't. That's true. Damon likes North Carolina, and Andrew's not that at all. Yeah, that's right. Sam says, yeah, Omaha Central legend, no doubt. Omaha was a great player up there.
He was telling some funny stories about Damon. He said he's got some stories about Damon, so we might have to we're going to try to start a more consistent podcast with him on, because he's taken over as the director of esports, Nebraska esports here. So really passionate about that. So talking a little Husker football and esports, but maybe part of that podcast we could have a special story time about Damon at the end that we can give him a hard time. We can give Damon a hard time about.
You are trying to light the fuse there. My gosh.
Normally it's you.
I'm the one getting accused of all. I'm just Mr. Nice Guy.
Normally it's you that lights that fire and then backs out.
See, I get accused of all this stuff, and I'm just this innocent little puppy dog that comes in here and does the show every night.
False. Normally people say facts. That is false facts.
Fake news around here is what's going on. So we got that on Thursday night, also Amy Williams show, and then it's party show on Friday night. So we're looking forward to cranking. You know, it starts Friday. First Husker baseball practice.
Wow.
Friday afternoon. They're going to have to be indoors. A little cold, still too much snow out on the ground. The softball team's been practicing for about 10 days already, because they start a week ahead of the baseball season. How about that? The ball bat sports are about ready to go.
They are. I mean, you announced the other day that the team captains for the softball team have been announced, and it'll be here before you know. I mean, I think, we saw them a little bit in the fall. The softball team, they got a lot of people back.
They sure do.
And a lot of incoming talent. I'm excited to see them out there for the first time.
They sure
It took them a while to get going last year, but,
What'd they win, 20 in a row? Was it 20 or 21 in a row or something like that last year? They got on a heater.
Yes.
They just were unbelievable.
Which is so hard to do in baseball and softball.
Really hard. They were amazing there for about a 5-week stretch last year, so hopefully that happens then as well. Great show tonight. Awesome to have Trev in here. We probably should have queued it back up and finished this hour with the call that ended last hour.
It's on social media.
It is.
It's tweeted out. Go to the Huskers Radio Twitter. You can hear it.
Terrific call for a gentleman who came to the Illinois football game. It was he's a veteran and was really blown away by the great military spirit shown at the Husker football game and the appreciation for the military at the Husker football game. Thanks, everybody, for being a part of this one. Cole, great job as always. Thanks to Jessica and all of you. Have a great night tonight.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so cold. The furnace is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy one free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www